beautiful, we actually have some blue sky here today in southern Ontario, although it is -5 or somewhere about there. Um, if you're joining me live, then please, as you come in, just say hi in the comments. Let me know that you're there, that you're watching, and post any questions you have as I go along. So, today I'm talking about harnessing your fear so that instead of holding you back, you can actually get out and enjoy every ride. And if this is your first time joining me, I'm Ann Gage, the Horse Riding Confidence Coach, and I help anxious horse riders get back in the saddle with confidence and joy and build great partnerships with their horses. And I'm the author of this book, Confident Rider, Confident Horse, which covers all of those areas and is available on my website in PDF and in this lovely paperback version. So, hi, Mills, how are you? Nice to see you here. I can't see on my screen here who's joining, how many people there are, unless you actually post something in the comments. So just say hi, as Mills has done. And this video will be available as a replay. It will get posted to my YouTube channel, so you can check there. And if you do come in and watch the replay, then please just type #replay in the comments. And again, post any questions. I do come back and check. So, as I said, I'm going to be helping you harness your fear, your horse riding fears. So, I'm going to be sharing 5 ways that you can get your fear to actually help you. So, first of all, what is fear? Well, it's really just an emotional state, right, that is triggered by our brains when our to either a real or a perceived or an imagined threat. And so in horse riding, obviously, there are real threats to our safety that we do need to pay attention to. But there are also a lot of imagined situations. We're great with our brains of creating stories and imaginary situations that feed into our fear and convince our brains that we should really not be dealing with these rather large prey animals. So, hi, Bev. We need to be aware that fear is perfectly natural. When it's working for us, it's telling us to pay attention. And by paying attention, we can prevent ourselves from getting potentially injured, right? So it evolved as a way to keep us safe, right? You think back to our prehistoric ancestors that needed to be aware, very aware of what was around them because we were prey to saber-toothed tigers and all sorts of wild animals. We were their dinner. And so that's where our fear has evolved from. Now, in our current situation, our modern lives, we are not very often in situations where we're going to become the meal of some other animal. But our fear mechanism is still operating in pretty much the same way as it was back then. Although we also have a very rational side of our brain in the hippocampus, in our prefrontal cortex that a lot of other mammals don't have. That is the rational side of our brain. So we can see, say, something green in the grass, and our immediate thought might be, oh, snake. And if you particularly have a fear of snakes, you might get that fear trigger. But then the rational side of your brain will very quickly go, oh no, that is just a garden hose. It's just a green garden hose in the grass. We don't need to worry about that. And so you don't waste the energy of that fear. And what our fear does, and we're all very familiar with our physical symptoms, the physiological side of fear, of that shallow breathing or holding the breath, the shakiness, the trembling, the very focused vision that we get. And all of those things happen and are triggered by our amygdala when it perceives a threat, whether that again is real or imagined. And so these physical things kick in, hormones get released, the stress hormones get released. So everything gets very focused into the parts of our body we need in order to either defend ourselves or get away from a situation. So our fight flight gets triggered. And so that's the very scientific, sort of technical side of our fear. And what's happening when we are fearful, again, in perhaps a situation where we're not really in any danger. I hear from horse riders a lot who say, my horse is an angel. I know rationally that he's going to behave himself, and yet this other part of me is being triggered into fear. And that is our irrational brain, our chimp brain, our prehistoric brain, that is believing either a story that we have created in our mind, perhaps we imagine, those what if thoughts about imagining things going badly. What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? And we play those stories over and over enough, then our brain, that amygdala part of our brain, picks up on that and says, we just should not be doing this. In the same way that our prehistoric ancestors took a particular route, a particular path through the plains or the forest or wherever they lived at the time, and had come across a predator and safely got away from that predator, their brain is going to tell them not to take that route. That would have told them not to take that route. And that's the same way that our brains are still working these days. So is this making sense so far? Just pop something in the comments, say, yes, it's making sense. So I know that I haven't lost you with this science side of fear. Or if you have any questions, just pop them in there and I will do my best. So just, there's a bit of a delay from when you type it in to when I see your answers. So just go ahead, type in yes if this is making sense so far. So, and those physical symptoms, of course, the shortness of breath, the shakiness, the feeling nauseous even, because another symptom of fear can be freeze, which is sort of like an animal, a rabbit playing dead when it's being pursued by a wolf or a coyote. So if you really physically get stuck and cannot move, if you've been at that level of fear, that is just another form of the fear mechanism trying to keep you safe. Doesn't work particularly well when we're sitting on a horse's back, however. So how can we stop that from happening and get our fear to work for us, right? How can we harness that fear in a better direction? Well, the first thing you can do is exhale. Focus on your breath, but make it an exhale, because when the fear gets triggered, we're either breathing very shallow breaths or we're holding our breath. And if you focus on taking an inhale, you may just continue to hold your breath. But if you focus on that really long exhale, and with the intention of releasing tension from your body, intentionally release tension from your body with each exhale, you'll tell your brain that you're okay because you're breathing in a calm way. So you switch off that fear mechanism. And with each exhale, as you focus on your breath, you can then really rationally analyze your situation. You can bring that rational side of your brain in to override the amygdala and that prehistoric part of your brain, the fear part of your brain. So that's the first thing you can do. The second way you can take more control of your fear. And I apologize if you hear any noise in the background. My husband is in the next room working on his mountain bike. If you haven't heard of these things, he has what's called a fat bike with really wide tires that you can actually ride through the snow. So our kitchen is his workshop, apparently. I just got a little bit distracted there. So point one was your breath. Focus on the exhale. Point two is use visualization. So you've slowed everything down with this exhale. Now you can picture things going well. You can do an assessment of what's actually happening around you, and you can take a moment to just visualize things working out well for you. A really good time to use visualization is when you're relaxed. So if you have an ongoing fear of, say, cantering or riding out on a trail or going in a particular part of the arena, when you're calm, when you're relaxed, when you're in a relaxed state, visualize that situation in your mind's eye with as much detail as you can, using what you would hear, what you would see, what you would feel, even what you would smell, and replay that visualization over and over and over when you feel calm, so that your brain connects that situation with you being calm. The problem with visualization, if you do it when you're already anxious, your brain connects that, what you're seeing in your head with, or in your mind's eye, with being anxious. Okay, so if that makes sense, practice your visualization when you're in a relaxed state. And another part of sort of planning or visualization is to have a contingency plan. So what would you do or could you do if X happened, right? If there's a noise in the arena and your horse startles, what could you do? So that you're, rather than worrying about what potentially could go wrong, you're actually coming up with a solution. What could you do to prevent it from happening? Okay, so where am I? One was take a breath. Sorry. Two was visualization. And within that, you can create a contingency plan. All right. And then the next one is to interpret your fear differently. So all of these physical symptoms we get with the fear are very similar to the same physical symptoms we get when we're feeling excited about something, right? So when you're really excited about something, your heart races a little bit, your blood pressure increases a little bit, your breathing might change, you might get a little bit more quick, you might feel a little bit, shaking with excitement. All of the same symptoms, physical symptoms, happen when we're excited as when we're afraid. It's a weird way our brain works. So if you feel those symptoms, instead of thinking, I'm scared, what would happen if you change that to, I'm so excited. I'm so excited I get to. I'm so excited I'm choosing to do whatever that activity is. Is this all making sense? Hi, Loretta. Just again, type in the comments if this is making sense. Let me know that you're with me still. And if you're not, ask some questions so I can clarify. And the final thing you can do is ask for help. So if you're dealing with fear about riding, then it's telling you to be aware of what is going on around you. And if this is becoming something that is, you're not able to manage it, and it's really taking the joy out of your riding, ask for help. Talk to a professional or a mentor. And sorry, my cat Marigold has decided to join us. Talk to a professional or a mentor about what's happening for you and get their advice and help on managing your your fear so that you can get out there and enjoy every ride. So those are my tips for helping you to harness that fear, to help it to help you. It's telling you to pay attention to something, so pay attention to something. Bring your rational brain, your reasoning brain into the fore by your breath, by that exhale, making that exhale nice and long and releasing tension from your body as you do that. Visualize what you want to have happen. Visualize yourself doing it well. Oh, I missed one. I just realized as I'm glancing back at my notes. Visualize and create a contingency plan for if something were to not work out the way you wanted it to do, what would you do to prevent it or to change that situation? The one I missed was have a wee book of awesome. When when something goes well, when someone gives you a compliment, small wins, keep a little journal, keep track of them, and then refer back to them so that before you go out to do something that you might be getting excited about, then you can refer back to these and get yourself into a better mental state, right? Relabel your fear to excitement. And the last one is ask for help. And if you need help with your horse riding confidence, that's what I do. You might be interested in and be a good fit for my 1-to-1 30-day confident horse riding confidence program. And I'm taking applications for that now. If you're interested, if you want to learn more, send me a message and I will fill you in. And that's it for me for today, unless I scroll down and see any questions here. Yes, Loretta, rehearse, but rehearse it going well and really bring up the feelings. How is it going to feel when you do that thing? Whatever that thing is, how's it going to feel when you've done it well? How's it going to feel when you've finished it? You know, you take that excitement, it can give you more energy, it can give you more focus. That's what fear can do. When we control it and stop it from controlling us, when you control your fear and take advantage of the energy and the very focused attention it can give you, then you can get out there and you can do this. You can really do this. So thanks for joining me today. And again, if you're watching the replay, pop your questions in or comments. I will come back and read them. And I will see you next Monday. I will be back with another live. If you have any topics or questions you would like me to address, then please let me know. Pop them in here or send me a message, and it might become the topic for my next live. I don't know. Say bye for now.